just to start it. Okay. Completely gone it suddenly. I don't know what's the reason. Okay, so we are here. So this is what we want. So we want the updated cost function or the error function. Okay, with respect to the weights and bias, should be the difference between the updated one and the present value should be less than 0. That's what we want. Okay, the error function, the cost function. So naturally, for satisfying this condition, we would like to keep this value should be less than 0. That's quite obvious. Everybody with me here? Can you see it? This is a cost function. This is the updated cost function. This is the initial value of the cost function. When you are updating with the gradient function, okay, that value, the difference should be less than 0. Then only you can say the updated cost function is error is minimized. Okay, then only the error is minimized. This is a cost function is in terms of errors. Okay, so naturally that's what we want. So for this one to satisfy, we need to keep this gradient multiplied by this u transpose, which is nothing but del theta is equal to u. Okay, del theta is what? The weight and biases. Those two dot product should be less than 0 is what the condition is. So if you are going to apply that condition, clearly you can see here, okay, this it should be less than 0. It's a dot product cosine angle. Already we learned that. Okay, the cosine angle part should be lying between -1 to +1. Okay, so naturally this value, the angle should be, we want a negative angle. Okay, so in that case cos beta should be equal to -1. It means that beta should be 180 degrees. Then what does that really convey? Your newly updated u transpose. What is u? That is nothing but the delta w, delta b cases. Okay, these values, the new one, should point in the direction negative to the gradient. That means the gradient is what? Dou L by dou theta. Okay, so this direction should be, these two should be pointing in the direction opposite to of this one. Therefore, that's why you are getting that negative value. See here, this negative is primarily because this is a newly updated one. Okay, this delta Wt is a gradient. Okay, this newly updated weight, this delta W is something you're going to add now with this delta W, that is Wt. Okay, when you're going to add this, this should be pointing in the direction negative to the gradient. Therefore, you're going to get the new updated weight like this. Okay, so that's the idea. Are you getting the point? This one? Yes or no? Am I audible now? Are you seeing the screen and all, man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah.
The screen is.
So the idea is very clear. So we are going to, that's the idea. So when the cos beta should be equal to -1, that means when beta is 180 degree, it means, okay, the direction of u. What is direction of u? What is u? You know that u. What is u? Delta theta. Okay, the delta theta is nothing but the change in weight and biases. That should be, okay, but we intend to move in, should be 180 degree with respect to the gradient. It means what? We are moving just opposite to the direction of the gradient. Okay, that is the idea. So what is gradient? Gradient is dou del theta by, that is dou L by dou theta or dou E by dou W. Okay, that's what we are talking about. Theta is the W, that's already I told you. So naturally, it means that we are going to move in the direction opposite, minus your 2. So that's why we are getting this negative value. Otherwise, it's the same idea. Okay, new weight is equal to old weight minus eta times dou E by dou W. That's what we already learned. Okay, the same idea is this. But only thing is this negative comes primarily because of this cosine angle between this u and this dou L by dou theta. This u is nothing but change in theta. Okay, that's what we defined. So between these two is what the cosine angle is. Cosine angle, the angle between these two parameters. Okay, so naturally it should be -1 because only if -1 only we get the condition satisfied. What is that condition? We want to get satisfied. L theta plus mu minus L theta should be less than 0. That is the condition we are looking forward to. So with this in mind, now let us proceed further. So we can write an algorithm like this. Okay. So we already received this gradient descent algorithm. So we're going to do it for a simple case. This idea is very important. Look at this case. It's a toy example. Only one input, only one output. Okay. Naturally, what is the cost function we are going to what is the transfer function we are going to fix here? The transfer function is going to be sigmoidal triplet. Okay, sigmoidal. So naturally, this will be the function I am talking about. 1 by 1 plus exponential of minus w dot x plus e for this one particular case. This is w. Okay, this is p. Okay, for this case, this is the kind of problem I'm talking about. Okay, so this b can also be represented as w or c. That's also feasible. Then you can put summation there. Now let us assume there is only one point to fit. Okay, x, y. So let us imagine I want to fit this point. What do? I will find out the cost function. What is the cost function? 1 by 2 times ypd minus whole square. Remember that. So ypd or y minus, or otherwise you can write yp minus ypd. As you are taking the square, both are feasible. This is the desired one. This is a neural network. For neural network, how do you compute? You pass it through a function f of x. Okay, this is the one you are going to do. Are you seeing the point clearly? So naturally, what is y? Y is going to come from this point. For example, 0.9 is your y. Okay, so when I plug in 2.5 inside the function, some value I will be getting, and for that I need to get 0.9. Okay, that is the difference. So this is your function. Now, how do you compute the delta w? Dou L by dou w. How do you compute? Differentiate these ones. So that's what we are doing. Okay, dou w 1 by 2 f of x. Everybody with me? Anybody having difficulty in this understanding this right now? Any questions here? This idea is quite important. Okay, then only you can program it. You understand why I am writing this? Krishna, can you repeat? Ananda, Karthik, one of you just try to repeat this, what I said.
Sir, we are differentiating the cost function with respect to weight, sir.
Okay,
to find out where the cost function will have, where the least error will be there, sir. So
where we
will have least error, sir.
Yeah, very good. We are trying to move the weights in a particular direction. What should be the direction? Can you tell me? The direction should be?
I don't know, sir.
The direction should be, the direction of the weight vector should be, that is opposite to the gradient. Okay, that's why you are going to get negative of that gradient. Okay, you understand? This weight vector should move in the direction. That's what we've seen by this cosine angle. Okay, we've seen this. The direction u. U here indicates the new weight, delta w. Okay, updated the value of this. So this should be move in the direction 180 degree with respect to the gradient. Otherwise, move in a direction opposite to the gradient. So that's what this idea is. See here? So we are getting a negative value. That's why. Okay. So that's the idea. New change in weight, you've seen it clearly. New change. See, initially you are at some particular theta. I want to move it to delta theta like this. Okay. How much I'm going to move? Okay, that's a change in delta I'm talking about right now. Okay, so the change in delta is nothing but delta w, delta p. So that's the idea we are talking about right now. Okay, now we are looking at a particular value and we are getting this. So what is this f of x, Ananda Karthik?
Sir?
What is this f of x?
So f of x is the output we are expecting here.
Output of the neural network. Very good. This is the output of the neural network we are expecting. What is y then?
Sir, yeah. Y is the labeled output, sir.
Labeled output. Very good. I understood this. Anybody else having difficulty in visualizing this clearly? Anybody having difficulty?
Yeah, I have one more doubt, sir. Sir, you told that the W will be moving in the opposite direction, sir. I didn't get that point clearly, sir. Could you repeat that?
Yeah. So look at this case. So the direction of u. See, we're going to have a new delta W. Okay. So when you're going to move, this one should be 180 degree with respect to the gradient. It means, look at this. Yeah, here you come look at this too. What is u? U is nothing but, you see that u is nothing but delta theta. You understand first what is u?
Yes, sir.
Then once you understand what is u, is delta theta, okay, new change in updated weight you are looking at, okay, and then dou L by this dou theta. What is this? This is a gradient. You understand? This is a derivative I'm looking at. Now I want to change my weight, but it should be what? I am looking for k times cos beta because it's a dot product. Okay, this dot product should be that k is equal to some cos beta. You understand? Okay, so cos beta is the angle. So I am looking for a connection between these two in such a fashion that it should be cos beta should be -1. Why? Why it should be -1? Then only your new objective for cost function will be the difference between the new cost function and the previous cost function will be less than 0. It means what? Your error is minimized. This difference should be less than 0 means what? Your error is newly updated error is minimized. Are you getting the point here? This idea? This is a cost function, updated cost function. This is a previous cost function. If this difference is less than 0, it means what? The error has come down. Okay, is the initial error, is the next error. The successive error should be less than 0. So this condition will be satisfied only when this rule, this dot product should be negative. Then only you can satisfy L theta plus learning rate times u is minus L theta will be less than u. If this is negative, I can get satisfied because you can directly you can see that. Are you getting the point?
It will reduce some amount.
It reduces some amount. Yeah, good. So now that's what we are looking for. Therefore, it should be moving in the negative direction of the. That's why I'm saying that. In other words, move in a direction opposite to the gradient. The new weight vector should move in the direction opposite to the gradient. That's why I'm getting this negative here.
Okay.
Okay, this negative is because of it. Are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Anybody having difficulty in visualizing this? Little tricky. Okay, normally I've seen that lecture. People find it difficult to literally understand this particular point everywhere. Okay, not only you people. Everywhere they find it little difficult to understand this. So just try to ask your question. We will try to discuss. We'll try to get clarified. Okay, now at this stage, till this point, it's clear for every one of you. What is this f of x? You'll see neural network output. This y is coming from the labeled data. This data. You take one point and you try to plug in that value, that y. Okay, what is x? 2.5. Y is 0.9. Is it clear? Now we'll move. Now I'm looking for delta w. It means what? I need to differentiate this with respect to w once. When I'm going to differentiate that with respect to w, I'll be doing like this. Okay, f of x is a function, you know that. Y square. Okay, this is the term. Okay, so then it means first I'm differentiating with respect to w. Okay, so this f of x is going to have that w. What is this? This f of x? 1 by 1 plus exponential of wx plus b. Okay, minus of wx. This is a term sitting over here. So I'm going to differentiate with respect to that only. So dou by dou w of that f of x minus y I'm going to get. 2 times of that is going to come down. 2 is going to get cancelled. I'll be getting this first term like this. And we need to work out this term. This term is quite important. So you can take this term and work out here. Okay, it's f of x, you know this. This is a term. So when I'm going to work out this, see here, this is by u by v formula I'm going to apply. Okay, so take it at -1, 1 by 1 plus e power minus wx plus b, the whole square, dou by dou w of e power minus wx plus b. Okay, then I can write it like this. Okay, this is more like e power minus wx plus b, partial fraction, dou by dou w of minus wx plus b I'm going to write. Then I'm going to write it like this. Okay, this is more like minus x I'll be getting. This is if you are differentiating this with respect to w, I'm going to get minus x. So I can write it like this. So then this term I'm going to write it more like this. This you can work out easily, you can find, you can write it this one like this. This is more like f of x. Okay. Then this term, if you put 1 minus f of x, you're going to get this. And this is x. This is a very powerful idea. We'll be using it heavily in backpropagation. When I'm going to differentiate dou by dou w of f of x, when I use a log sigmoidal function, I'll be getting something like f of x, 1 minus f of x into x. Okay. So then what it means, I will not be computing the derivative at all here. In the program, when you're going to work out, simply when you're going to compute the gradient, I will take the same function minus y. Whether you know y, what is y? Label data. What is x? X is given. Yes, you plug in that value inside your log sigmoidal function, you're going to get f of x. 1 minus f of x, I can get x, I know. So I can simply compute the gradient without taking the derivative at all. Simply you plug in this value, I'll be getting it. Are you getting the point? Anybody having difficulty in visualizing it? Please ask. How I'm computing the derivative for log sigmoidal functions. Okay, this idea is very powerful. When you're going to work out the algorithm, you can see comfortably you can do this step without any difficulty. Derivative you need not compute at all, gradient at all. Simply take, in order to compute delta w, take the function minus y into fx, again the same function 1 minus fx into x. X in known. From the data point you can collect all these values. Okay, is it clear? Anybody having difficulty? Everybody understood this?
So can you repeat once, sir?
Yeah, please listen carefully. So what I'm looking for dou L by dou W. Okay. So this is your dou L by dou W. I'm going to differentiate this, and you have to understand clearly this f of x is defined to be an exponential function. So this function here sitting is like this. Okay, is an sigmoidal function. Sigmoidal function. That's a neural network. It's a one input neural network I'm trying to train now. For one input, if you know clearly, you can do it for many number of inputs. Okay, n inputs. That's the power. Okay, so understand it very clearly. So I'm trying to compute the loss function now, and I'm finding out the derivative of the loss function with respect to the updated weights. Okay, I'm going to update my weights. So take the function. This is squared. Okay, so I'm going to differentiate with respect to w. So I know that this is a function. This y is not a function of w because that's a constant. It's a labeled data, so you need not bother about this y. Only this is a neural network output. That's a function of w. So that's going to be like this. Can you see it? This is a function of w and biases. Right? Can you see it clearly? So naturally, I'm going to update these two only. So naturally, I'm going to take this value. Square term is going to come down first. I'm going to differentiate this once. I'll be getting this term. These two get cancelled. I'm going to have only this term, and then I'm going to do the partial derivative of dou by dou w f of x minus 1. And within that, this y is not going to play any role because w is not a function of y. I'm going to have only this. So this is nothing but 1 by 1 plus e4 minus wx. I'm computing that here. Okay, using the formula u by v formula. If I compute that, I'll be getting these terms. Okay. So this in fact again you need to differentiate with respect to dou by dou w, primarily because this value is minus wx plus 2. So then if you differentiate this once, I'm going to have minus x, and these terms are going to be sitting like this. And if you look at this term, clearly this one is going to be what? F of x. Okay. So and then this term is going to be what? There is 1 minus here and there is 1 minus here. You'll get plus. Therefore, this you're going to get as f of x, and this term is going to be like 1 minus f of x. To do that easily, you can compute that. See here, 1 by is 1 by 1 plus e power minus wx plus 2. If you do that, you'll be getting this term. Take this term numerator and you're going to get this term. E power minus wx plus p. 1 will get cancelled, and you're going to get 1 by 1 plus e power minus wx plus p into x. So naturally, this is nothing but 1 minus f of x, this term. You agree? This is f of x, this is 1 minus f of x, and this is x. So you did not compute derivative at all. Simply plug in all those values, you get the derivative. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Anybody having difficulty again? Okay. So once you complete this stage, you can directly go for the code. Look at the code. So I'm going to give some input. Okay. 0.525. What is output? Corresponding for 0.5, I need to get 0.2. 2.5, I got 0.9. Is it clear? The code is visible to everyone. So I'm going to define a function. Okay. What is that function? Can you guess from this term? From this term? Can you guess from this term? What is that function? It's a sigmoidal. Yeah, it's a sigmoidal function. So I'm defined a function. Using the Python code, I'm defining the function. So for function definition, so for all Python, whenever you want to work with the Python definition, you have to start with the def. Then def means there's a definition of the function. Then give the name of the function and give the arguments. Okay, that's the term. So then you have to return something. So get the values of w, get the value of b, get the value of x, and substitute it in this formula. You get the corresponding function defined. And then compute the error. How are you going to compute the error? Initially keep the error is equal to 0. Then for all the values of x and y, take one value of x and y first. Then put f of x equal to f into wb. You plug it inside the function, compute that value. It's more like take the input for the given weight, compute the function. Okay, that's what I'm doing here. So compute the function using this expression. And then compute the error. How do you compute the error? F of x. So you'll be computing the f of x. That's the output now. Output of what? Neural network. Yp. And then you have ypd. What is that desired value from the label? That's y. This is f of x. This is y. Then compute it for 1/2 f of x minus y the whole square. That's what we are computing. Is it clear? 0.5 into this. Anybody having difficulty in seeing this function anywhere? Is it clear? Yes or no? Can I move? Can I move further?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Krishna, Gurubara, Shavya, Lakshmi.
Yes, sir, clear, sir.
Okay.
Sir, error மட்டும் explain பண்ணுங்க சார்.
Error என்னன்னு சொல்லவா?
Error function மட்டும் explain பண்ணுங்க சார்.
Error வந்து this error is nothing but we already learned 1/2 yp minus ypd the whole square. Remember? That's why error. This is the label. This is neural network output. This is a label data. Label data y it's given here. For each input there is a y given. This is your label data. And what is yp? That is a neural network output. How do you compute the neural network output? Take the input, multiply it with y, pass through the function. That's what we have done here. Wx plus b passing through the function, sigmoid function. That is your function f. Okay, that is fx I have defined. Use that function. Fx is equal to, call that function here and compute that value of f of x. That is your neural network output. Is it clear now? 0.5 is 1/2. 1/2 if neural network output minus the label data output whole square. Is it clear, Krishna?
Yes, sir.
Huh? What?
So clear, sir. Clear, sir.
Yeah, for every value of x and y, you are going to do that. Okay, for every value of label data, you are going to compute this error. And then you simply add it, all the error. So when you are going to put plus equal to here, every iteration, whatever error you are going to get, you are going to add it up. That's accumulation. It's an accumulator. So if I'm going to have n data here, for all the n data, for the initial set of weights and bias, you're going to compute here. Is it clear? That's the first stage we are in. Then you work out gradient. So how do you compute the gradient? We know what is f of x. We have computed that here. Then we know what is the gradient value. What is the gradient value? This is the gradient. Fx minus y into fx, 1 minus fx into x. That is the value. That has been substituted here. Clear. This is your gradient. Is it clear? Anybody having difficulty how you compute the gradient? Once you compute the gradient, what do you do? For both bias and weight, you are computing the gradient. That's important. Okay. For both the values, it is the same. Is it clear what I'm saying? Okay, the gradient will be the same for both the values. Okay, f of x minus y into f of x into 1 minus f of x into x. Okay, but for weights, you are going to get into x. For biases, you won't get into x. That's a key point. Okay, that you have to understand. Primarily because, can you tell me the reason why we are getting like that? Anybody? Rubaran? For bias, what did I say? Huh?
Because when we differentiate,
No, don't
we
go
get
there. When you are working with bias, we always keep x equal to 1. That's all. Then this is bias. Okay. So this bias is nothing but W naught. That's what I told you. Remember, W naught, W into xi, Wi xi with I going from 0 to some n vectors you have. Then in that case, this W naught, when you're going to multiply with xi, that x0 will always be 1. So naturally you can multiply it with 1 here. That's not going to really help you. So naturally we are eliminating that. Okay, so that's this idea. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear? Gurubaran?
yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the idea. Okay, so then you will be getting for byte update, this x is going to be there. Then you choose your gradient descent function. The gradient the definition of the function is do underscore gradient. You have to define a name like this, and then you are not passing any argument to it. And then the next line you are starting. So you are defining, you are assigning some variables. What are they? Initial set of weights w, b, eta. What is eta? That's the learning rate between 0 to 1. I'm keeping it as 1. And the maximum number of epochs, the iteration, they're keeping it 0. So for I in the range of maximum epochs, so 1000 times I'm going to run this iteration. So range means range function normally talks about the iterable, the counter. It's more like a counter, range is a counter. Okay. So you're going to run this code so many times. How many times you'll be running this code? 1000 times. Okay, so take that value. Initially, db, that's a change in weight and change in w, you're going to keep it 0 and then run this code. See it, new updated weight is going to be old weight minus eta times of this gradient. Okay, dw is going to be equal to gradient of this w. Gradient of w already I have defined it. Gradient of b already I have defined it. Simply take that and substitute. Can you see it? New weight is equal to old weight minus eta times dou e by dou w. This dou e by dou w is what we are computing here. These two functions are going to help you that. Use that function and substitute here. dw, d2. Is it clear? So you're going to do it so many number of iterations and check whether your weights have come down. Okay, use this code, use the Google Colab and try to run this code and try to get some results for some data. So you can use data set from Kaggle, you can use data set from any website. Just try this code. Okay, with maybe we start very limited kind of data set, maybe 5 data, 10 data. Gradually you increase, gain confidence, and work with this algorithm thoroughly. Okay, this is a very fundamental algorithm, perceptron-based gradient descent algorithm. Okay, we can use this idea again in the backpropagation network, which is very powerful, multi-layered perceptron, and we can extend it to deep learning and all. Okay, those who are interested, we can pursue that. But the fundamental is this idea. Okay, how we are updating the weight. But there are many different ways in which you can update this weight. Gradient descent is one kind of optimization technique. There are many variations of this gradient descent, like AdaGrad. Okay, there are many ways in which you can work out. Professor Vidish Kapra has handled that also. You can see his lecture. And when you are going to work on a project, maybe you can compare 2 or 3 different optimization routines and see how the results are changing. That will be a very good work. And you can very well explain that also with your mathematical background, optimization, and you might have studied. Okay, if not, maybe you can refer to few lectures or video lectures from Stanford and all. Easily you can argue for your case and you can present your results in some conference and all. Okay, at the undergrad level, if you can do that, that will be very well taken. When you at the time of interview and all, you can very well substantiate your arguments with the clarity, because as you have prepared your own code, okay, you will be very confident. Okay, try to, this is a very toy code, in fact, I have given to you, but I'll be presenting you more number of such a kind of codes in the coming classes. Gain some more confidence and try to proceed. Okay, so that's the idea. Now let us proceed further. So any doubt in this code so far? So this zip and all, don't worry. Okay, just type in Google, you'll get it. How we are using this zip. Zip means we are going to take both x and y together. Okay, and then going to work out. So it's more like at a time you'll be taking both x and y and plug in value inside this formula. Okay, that will not be very difficult. Easily you can understand that. Okay, so you'll be taking at a time both x and y and plug it in value and update the gradient. So the updation of gradient, you'll be using these two functions, gradient b and gradient a. Okay, maybe I will project you that slide for Professor. Here you can see we're going to update these weights with this code. Okay, see here what's happened. See, this is where we started. The direction should be always all right. Okay, now we are starting with one toy data. So these are all the points. I'm plugging in the values. So I'm going to do this operation. Okay, now this is a code. Now see how the error is going to decrease for so many number of epochs that you can see clearly. Look at carefully this particular region. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to run the code. When I'm running the code, okay, it's more like this. Look at the point here. Kathy, can you, everybody is seeing the red point there? Red and black. Can you see how the error is coming down? For the new set of errors, okay, the weights updated for updated weights, the error is descending down. Okay, clearly you can see here. This point. Can you see here, everybody, how the error has come down? Okay. So this is with respect to what? How many weights we have? Only one weight, one bias. This is the error curve. Okay, so the error has come down. Only number of iterations. Okay. So now let us look into this representational power of the multi-layered sigmoidal network. Okay, today's class. Before that, maybe you can see the idea about it. In fact, last class I introduced you. We want to represent any kind of function like this, and for that we need to build towers. Is what I said. Okay, how we are going to build a tower? By taking more number of network layers. See, when for each for each neuron, okay, you are going to build a tower like this. The sigmoidal function is like this. Okay, and I'm going to vary the weights. It's going to move like this. Is it all right? Can you see it? All right. So when I move the weights, it's going to behave like this. Now, if I move the bias, it's going to move like this. This idea is important. So now I can take two of these sigmoidal functions, two neurons, and I can subtract one from the other. Okay. In fact, you might have learned that in signals and systems. What do? You take u of t. U of t is what happens? U of function. U of t is going to be my signal like this. What is u of t minus? Okay, some value, u of t minus 1. If I'm going to take that, it's going to be like this. So if I do u of t minus u of t minus 1, what do I get? I hope you can recall that. I'll be getting this pulse. Okay, this is a 1, this is 0, it goes up to infinity, this goes up to infinity. If I subtract these two signals, I'll be getting this pulse. So this is a tower we are talking about. He's talking about this tower. So each neuron, with the help of a sigmoidal function, I can generate a function like this. Okay, then I can take two of those neurons, something like this, two of these subfunctions, and subtract. I can move this bias. When I move the bias, I can move from this point to this point, like this. Then if I subtract these two, I'm going to get something like a tower. So that's what, in fact, is trying to convey there. Are you getting the point clearly? How we are building towers? Is it clear? Each neuron, see here, sigmoidal function is like this. Look at the sigmoidal function. Each neuron, the output is like this. Okay. Now I can move by varying the weight. I'm changing these more like a step function. Okay, but varying the bias, I can move it in the time axis, the x-axis like this. So I can do this, and I can get two of these neurons, and I subtract the weights. Then I'll be getting the corresponding tower like this. Okay, so then that's what we are building tower. He is calling. Okay, take two neurons. This neuron is going to produce the output like this, and this neuron is going to produce an output like this. Look at the weight here. This is minus, this is plus. So naturally, I am adding these two functions. This is minus, this is plus. So naturally, I'll be getting a tower like this, a pulse like this. So this idea is very important. Everybody with me here? Everybody understood how I am building the tower?
Sir.
Yeah, Gurbaran, yeah. Everybody, yeah, fine. Anybody having difficulty, please ask. Don't hesitate. We will discuss and try to understand. So that's how we are proceeding. Okay, so now if I am going to classify data something like this, so I need to prepare towers like this. I need to develop towers like this. So that's where the idea comes. Look at this. The two-dimensional sigmoid. Okay, so I'm going to build like this. So I'm changing the weight, and I'm going to get some function like this. One, I'm keeping it W2, I'm keeping it 0. And then I'm varying the weights. Then I'm varying the bias. It's more like this. Now if I take two of this step function and subtract, I'll be getting this tower. Is it clear? Now I'm going to get the tower like this. Now I'm going to do, see here. This is what happened. So So second weight I'm now changing, keeping the first weight constant. Now I've got 2 like this. Now if I do that, I'll be getting like this. Can you see how I'm getting a kind of a tower? Okay. So within the under the tower, whatever data is there, that's going to be one particular class. Outside the tower, that's going to be a different class. So I can classify data, very complex kind of data. Okay. So with the help of these towers, that's the idea of representation power. So I can build towers like this. See here. I can build towers like this. That's the power. I can do like this. Take this. I can build for these 2 neurons is going to produce this tower, and these 2 neurons are going to produce this tower, and I'm going to take these 2 and I'm going to produce something like this. That's the representation power of neural network. Okay, so I can build different towers by taking neurons like this. Each neuron idea is the same. Perceptron neuron, whatever you have learned, the same idea. So now look at this. Yeah, this person I told you already. Yeah.
Sir, we are building different towers, sir, and where will we introduce the delay, sir?
No, delay is very clear, man. See here, that's why I have to ask you to look into it very clearly. See, what is this? When a bias is changing, what's happening?
Okay.
Delay I'm creating. When the bias is changing, delay is happening, and the weights are changing, the transition rate is going to change. So that's why I told you this diagram you have to see carefully. Maybe I'll project this one. Yeah, this one. Look at this. When a bias is changing, can you see how it's moving? The x-axis. Yeah. So take 2 of these neurons with different biases. One is u of t, another one is u of t minus 1. Subtract.
Okay, sir.
Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
That's what we are doing. You get different data set like this. Okay. So that's the representation. So for understanding this very clearly, you go back to the site I said, neural network deeplearning.com. The chapter 4, visual proofs that neural networks can compute any function. You click on that. So this is open source. Okay, this guy is very good, Michael Nielsen. Go through his GitHub and pages and all. You can collect a lot of information. But right now, just imagine this. You see here, change the weight. Yeah. Weights are changing. What's happening? Can you see it? Everyone? You change the bias. What's happening? Okay. That's one thing. That's one idea. Another idea. We change the weights. Okay. You can use this site. Go through it and try to understand. I can build a complex structures like this. Okay. Look at the kind of tower we have built. One pulse. So look at this. You can clearly see this is going to give one step function. This particular neuron is going to give another step function. Look at the weight here. 0.8 minus 0.8. I am subtracting. 2 of the step functions I am subtracting. That's why I am getting the pulse like this. Okay.
So can you share the link, sir?
Yeah, I already shared, man.
In chat.
Yeah. You will see. Yeah. One minute. I'm connecting some notes. Yeah, here it is. Chat. 1 minute. 4. Okay, are you seeing it?
Sir,
I hope you could have received. Yeah. Now look at this. This is another one case. By carefully choosing different kinds of weights, you read this, you can understand this. So you can build complex networks like this. See, basically we are trying for building towers like this to represent any function. That's the idea. Regression functions. See, polynomial can be created like this. See, this kind of polynomial functions can be created by going for more number of towers like this. By updating. Yeah, you see this, you get some idea. Change the weight, what's happening? Same idea. Change the bias, what's happening? 2-dimensional case, 2 inputs. So now look at this. So I build a tower like this and weighted from output from hidden layer. So use a hidden layer and build multiple towers like this. Many towers. Very powerful representation feature of neural network. See how he is building the tower. See, if you want something like this also you can do. This is one class, this belongs to one class, and the output, whatever the data outside that is belonging to different class. You can build like that also. Okay, read this page and get some insight. But again and again we are talking about only what? To summarize what we have learned again and again, we are talking about So we have a data set, input output data set, and we try to develop neural networks. Taking the input, you're going to get some output, and this neural output you call it as y cap. The data set output you call it as y. We always look for minimizing this gap, okay, by updating what? Weights and biases. This weight and bias is updated using various optimization routines. Very famous one is gradient descent. So for all perceptron and backpropagation kind of network, heavily gradient descent is being employed. And neural network researchers are nowadays coming up with a new what you call updated version of this gradient descent, like AdaGrad network. If you see his website, professor's website, you will see some of this upgraded versions here. Momentum-based gradient descent, Nestrov accelerated gradient descent, stochastic gradient descent, AdaGrad, RMS prop, ADAM. These are all some of the optimization routines. In fact, you can see, and some of these algorithms are you can see the codes and all in this reference link. See, this is a very powerful course, a very standard course given at Stanford University called Convolutional Neural Network for Visual Recognition. We did not go through all this. Okay, some of the portions which are relevant to us. This idea, gradient checks. Now you can read that and you can gain more insights. And some of the codes are also there. GitHub codes are there. You can use those codes and you take some data set and try to apply it. See here how the gradient descent is happening. You can see beautifully explained with animation and all. Okay, gradient. For different algorithms, he has compared. The professor has compared SGD, momentum, AdaGrad, AdaDelta, RMS prop. You can do a kind of work like this for a project work. If you can do such a kind of work, it will be really appreciated. Okay, you'll be respected as a machine learning expert at the time of interview and all. Okay, imagine that and try to work out. Don't take it lightly and put 1 or 2 hours of effort per week. Minimum of 4 to 5 hours. If you put, I'm telling you, another 3 months, you can come up with a very good project. Okay, on this backpropagation or neural network kind of learning. Okay, aim for it and achieve that. Okay, don't take it lightly. I can understand you will be having some difficulties, particularly with the placement and all, but 5 hours per week is not a big deal. Okay, that's my point. All right, can I stop now today? Anybody having any doubts or something? Yeah. Abhijit, Kailash, hey, Daniel Carlton.
Yes, sir.
Daniel Kubler, Daniel Carlton, are you there, man? Are you following the lectures? I'm not sure. Abhijit Kannan, Kailash, it's all right. You're following the lecture.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, keep learning, man. Everything is available.
Sure.
Good materials are there. We need to work out and come up with a good project. I'm expecting some at least 10 to 15 good projects from your end. Okay, out of 43 students, some 20 batches we can split. Okay, 2 students in a batch. We can plan that maybe another 1 week down the line. After talking to the management, I will decide that. Then we will work with 20 different projects with different data sets. Maybe apply different algorithms and try to get some good results. Okay, that's what I'm aiming for. Okay, fine, we'll stop here.